Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into artificial intelligence. What is it really, and how does it work? Let's get right into it. When you hear AI, your mind might jump straight to sci-fi movies, right? Robots, futuristic cities. But here's the thing, it's not some far-off idea. AI is already here, woven into pretty much everything we do, running quietly in the background of the tools you use every single day. I mean, just think about your morning. You unlock your phone with your face? That's AI. Netflix suggests the perfect movie you were totally in the mood for? Yep, that's AI too. When Google Maps saves you from a traffic nightmare by finding a new route? Or you just ask Siri about the weather? You guessed it. It's all powered by AI. It is literally everywhere. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. What exactly is artificial intelligence? Well, at its heart, AI is really just the whole idea of making machines smart. It's about teaching computers how to do stuff that for a long time only humans could do. Things like learning from experience, solving puzzles, recognizing patterns, understanding speech, even looking at a picture and knowing what's in it. So the big question is, how do we actually make a machine smart? Well, the most popular and powerful way we do it today is with something called machine learning. And this is super important to get. When you hear the term AI thrown around in the news or on a new app, chances are they're really talking about machine learning. It's basically the engine that makes most of modern AI run. Instead of a programmer writing out every single rule by hand, we just show the computer a ton of examples and let it figure out the rules for itself. Okay, so there are a lot of buzzwords flying around, right? AI, machine learning, deep learning. It can get confusing. The easiest way to think about it is like a set of Russian nesting dolls. The biggest doll on the outside? That's artificial intelligence, the big overall idea. You open it up, and inside you find machine learning. That's the main method we use. Open that one, and you get deep learning, an even more powerful, brain-inspired technique. And then, right in the very center, the newest and most talked about doll, that's generative AI. So this whole learning thing really boils down to a simple two-step dance. Step one is training. Let's say a bank wants an AI to predict who's a good bet for a loan. They feed the machine thousands and thousands of old loan applications. The machine just chews through all that data, looking for patterns. Like, oh, people with this kind of credit score usually pay back on time. Once it's found those patterns, we move to step two, inference. Now, a brand new person applies for a loan. The machine takes what it learned from the past and makes a prediction, an educated guess about this new person. See? It's all about learning from the past to predict the future. But how do these machines actually learn? It's not just one size fits all. There are actually three main flavors of machine learning, and each one takes a totally different approach to the problem. First, you've got supervised learning. The best way to think about this is like studying for a test when you already have the answer key. You give the machine a bunch of data that's already labeled with the right answer. The classic example is your spam filter. It was trained on millions of emails that were already marked by humans as either spam or not spam. So it learns what spam looks like. This is the go-to method when you know what you're looking for. Then there's the complete opposite, unsupervised learning. Here we take away the answer key. We just dump a massive, messy pile of data in front of the machine and say, find something interesting. It's the machine's job to find hidden patterns and group things on its own. Imagine giving it a million news articles and it automatically sorts them into topics like sports, tech, and politics without anyone ever telling it what those topics were. It's all about discovery. And last but not least, we have reinforcement learning. This one is my favorite. It's basically learning by trial and error. Think of it like training a puppy. You have an AI agent that's trying to complete a task. When it does something good, you give it a treat, a digital reward. When it messes up, it gets a little penalty. Over and over again, it learns the best strategy to get the most rewards. This is how AI gets so good at playing complex games. All right, let's go deeper into our Russian doll. It's time to talk about deep learning. Now, this is the real powerhouse. This is the technique behind some of the most mind-blowing AI breakthroughs we've seen, from self-driving cars to assistants that can understand everything you say. So what's the secret sauce behind deep learning? It's something called a neural network. And yeah, the name is a clue. It's a system that's inspired by the crazy interconnected web of neurons inside our own brains. It's built with layers upon layers of these artificial neurons that work together to process information in a really complex and, well, deep way. Okay, that sounds cool and all, but what does it actually mean? Like, how does a computer actually learn to see? How can it look at a photo and say, hey, that's a cat? Well, it's this really cool step-by-step process. First, you just feed it a ton of data, like thousands and thousands of pictures of cats. Then the network's different layers start analyzing everything. The first layer might just see simple edges. The next layer might combine those into shapes, like ears or whiskers. Then comes the magic part. Guess and adjust. The network makes a guess, is this a cat? And then it checks the answer. If it's wrong, it tweaks its internal connections just a tiny bit to get it right the next time. It does this millions of times, getting a little smarter with every guess until finally it can spot a cat in a photo it's never, ever seen before. And all of that brings us to the very center of our Russian doll, the final, smallest, but maybe the most powerful doll of them all, the one that has absolutely taken the world by storm, generative AI. And this, right here, is the real game changer. See, for the longest time, AI was all about analyzing things that already existed, predicting things, classifying things. But generative AI? It's different. It doesn't just understand the world, it actually creates new things. Brand new, original stuff that never existed before. I'm sure you've seen this stuff everywhere. Tools like ChatGPT writing entire essays from a single prompt, Midjourney or DALL-E creating these unbelievable images just from a few words of text. We're even seeing tools that can create incredibly realistic video clips. And for coders, things like GitHub Copilot are writing computer code for them. This isn't just AI as a tool, this is AI as a creative partner. So, after all that, what's the one big idea you should walk away with? It's this. Machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, they aren't a bunch of separate competing things. They're all just different layers, different parts of the same huge revolutionary field, artificial intelligence. I mean, think about the journey we've just been on. We went from machines that can just spot a pattern to machines that can create entirely new art, new text, new worlds. It's absolutely incredible. And it leaves us with a really big question to chew on. Now that machines can learn, reason, and even create, what should we teach them next?